So there's like a lot of stuff that I want to do right now on this channel. So I'm gonna give you some sneak peeks, and I'm gonna give you a reason for why it's been kind of quiet on my end for a little while. So let's get to the ladder first. I burned my hand quite badly. Without going into all the details, let's just say that if you buy used reloading equipment, make sure that you know for sure that the label on their powders is right. Because black powder and HP 38 are very different things. So anyway, I'm right-handed. This is my right hand. Can't really pew right now with my right hand. Does that take me off the range? I don't have the luxury of that. I'm still teaching firearms classes. I'm a firearms instructor, right? So that's why you have to be able to pew with both hands. Can't pew with both hands. How do you teach right-handed and left-handed people? How do you deal with stuff like this? Now, even though I'm shooting with my left hand on range, I can't do a full two-handed grip. But I can still teach draw stroke from a left-handed holster. I can still teach proper one-handed grip and trigger pull, sight picture, sight alignment, all that kind of stuff. So short of peeling my right hand off and truly committing it to a right-handed grip or a two-handed grip, I've got to be able to demonstrate. So along those lines, before I move forward, the other things I want to talk about is if you are an instructor out there or you want to become an instructor, and those are questions I get all the time. How do I go from a competent shooter to being someone who could actually make money teaching other people how to shoot? And there's a million different pathways to that. But before you even consider trying to do that, you better be able to demonstrate everything right-handed and left-handed, regardless of what your dominant side is, because you're going to have students that are both. You need to know how to deal with cross-side dominance on different platforms if you're teaching more than handguns specifically. But, and you need to be able to teach cross-side dominance in both directions. Doesn't mean that you're going to be as effective and as efficient, on your weak side as you are your strong side, but you better be able to I don't edit stuff out, I just make weird noises and move on. You better be able to do it correctly. Accuracy and efficiency of movement. So you should be able to demonstrate it at full combat speed, whatever you're doing, at whatever the appropriate speed is for it to be combat speed at that distance, on that specific target with your dominant hand. But you better be able to at least demonstrate accuracy and economy of movement on your weak side, and just say, obviously this is your strong side of practice. You should be able to get faster than probably I'm even demonstrating it to you. But and I've had to lean on that. So to transition away from just instructors to the everyday shooter, you don't plan stuff like this usually. So you've got to be able, to adapt. Now, I'm not saying you go crazy with it unless financially it's no issue with you. You duplicate all your expensive gear, holsters and that kind of stuff, both right-handed and left-handed, just in case one day you hurt yourself. You can also appendix carry left-handed and all this other stuff. I have some cheaper backup gear that I can run that's my weak side, my left side. So just something to think about. Now, here's some highlights for what I have coming. Y'all watched my last video, most of you. In fact, it's one of my most popular videos right now because it's drawing in people from the airsoft world, not just the tactical world, about me poo-pooing the Umarex Elite Force Glock Airsoft, the Gen 4 Glock 17. And I'm poo-pooing it because, and I did make a mistake, I think, in the video, and I said that it was designed to be a trainer. And that may not be articulated anywhere specifically. But if you look at places that are talking about previous airsoft versions that were licensed by Glock that were not available, at least in the US market, to anyone other than law enforcement or the military, and those versions, so like the Cyber Gun and rebranded as a Spartan Gen 3 Glock 17, was only available to military and law enforcement as a trainer. It was designed and it's marketed to be a trainer. And that was the only other, to my knowledge, Glock that was licensed by Glock. And so rather than open that up to the general public, because it was built on the Gen 3 platform, the next license went to Umarex and Elite Force, and they made the Gen 4 Glock 17, and I think they also have a Glock 19 version, and I don't know if it's a Gen 4 or Gen 3, but either way, it stands to reason logically that if the only other Glock that was a airsoft gun that was licensed by Glock was intended to be a trainer, that philosophy of use would continue through the next one. But obviously, and as you saw in my video, if you watched it, it didn't fit in holsters. The external dimensions were more akin to a 45 ACP than they were a Glock 17. So if you have all this Glock 17 duty gear, it's not going to fit in that gear because the external dimensions are too big, which is baffling to me because there's nothing, to my knowledge, there's nothing integral to the function of that gun that requires that external dimension. It was just a flat, plain old, ridiculously ludicrous oversight. Okay, I've talked to the manufacturers and they said, yeah, we're trying to get quality to think about the external dimensions. You know, it's pretty close, but you know, it works in a nylon holster. So it's a piece of garbage as a training tool if you have a 9mm or 40 caliber real steel gun that you want this to be an analog for. I have since gotten one of the law enforcement only cyber guns. I have the ability to do that, but not everybody watching my channel does. So I didn't want to go with something that's law enforcement only because it's hard for you to see this and say, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna go and get the other one. But I still want one for force on force training, so I'll talk about it. Unfortunately, most of you that are watching this are not gonna be able to go get one unless you're in law enforcement, okay? And even if you're in the military, you're not gonna be able to get one unless you can get your unit to do a purchase for it, which you will not be able to do. But they do let individual law enforcement officers, if you show your credentials, buy them. So if you have any kind of law enforcement credentials, you can go through a place like Fox Airsoft or Airsoft Atlanta and get one. I went through Fox and just sent them my credentials and was able to get it approved by the distributor. So anyway, that's something to come. I want to show you what a real training tool, designed to be a training tool, airsoft gun is like, and what my philosophy of use, how I'm going to use it in training classes is force on force and that kind of stuff. So that's coming out. What else? I want to do a full review on my duty holster that I'm running now. I want to put that out. It's hard to find a duty holster. And when I talk about duty holster, I'm talking about something with active positive retention for a Glock 17 with an RMR, a flashlight, and a compensator besides the Black Hawk Omnivore. There's nothing inherently wrong about the Black Hawk Omnivore. It's not a great looking holster. The issue with the Omnivore is, specifically for me, is that there's enough of a gap between the top of the Kydex and the trigger well that you really could, if someone was fighting for your gun, they could get their finger in your holster and pull the trigger while it's still locked in the retention. So that's not great. Okay, it's probably a design flaw, and I say flaw. The Omnivore was really designed to eat all guns, Omnivore. So, you know, they had to make tolerances somewhere, and maybe by leaving that much of a gap, 15 different guns that would have not fit now fit. So that's the problem with one of these one size fits alls, is that it's something that's good at a lot of things is great at nothing, usually. So what else? I'd like to do a full review of my appendix carry setup, which is sitting here. LAS Concealment Ronin 2, cut specifically for the stubby comp, and so on and so forth. That hurt. This will be better in a few weeks. So, you know, I don't want to halfway do some of these videos. So that's kind of an update of why it's been quiet. And so things are coming. Just let me heal up. Ask questions, comments, all that stuff. I'm trying to build some some ideas of when I get a chance to really dig back into the channel and do some stuff. I'd like to speak directly to what you're interested in. So like, comment, subscribe, you know, same stuff everybody else tells you. Bye.